see there's a few people with me in the chat box. And my topic today is voicings on your instrument. So voicings refers to chords, basically notes that form chords, and they can be played on stringed instruments or keyboard instruments, but don't necessarily apply to things like trumpets and saxophones that don't only play one note at a time. So to form a chord, you only need two notes, and typically the bass note is called the root. 3 notes up from that, if I'm on a C, I go C, D, E, that's my third. F, G, the 5th note is the root 3rd and 5th to form a G chord. Now when you, or in this case a C chord, sorry. So the idea is that a simple chord can be voiced in 3 different ways typically. And here's the C chord. So with the C on the bottom, the 3 notes sound like that. But if you start on the 3rd and play the 3 notes up from there, you've got E, G, and C. That's a different voicing for that chord. And then above that, the 3rd voicing is G, C, and E. So you got these 3 different voicings. And different melody note on the top, different bass note on the bottom. When you apply that to songs and arranging, you can come up with some interesting variations that can be inspiring or just sound really, really great and different. So I'm going to play you a song that I wrote on my album called Leaving the Lagoon, and this is a song called Like Being Home Again. And I'm going to use a few different voicings on this song. Maybe you can pick them up. I sure wish my audio was working a little bit better, so I don't know. I'm going to maybe fiddle around. I think I'm probably doing as good as I can, and just cock that ear thing off here. Okay, here we go. So this is called Like Being Home Again. Alex, let me know if anything doesn't sound right or whatever, because I can see you on the chat box here. Welcome to Wildwood, home of the Shingle Mill Pub. Historic town site and healing lodge at the hub. It's right down Switchback Cove, left on Powell Lane. At the sea green, the Andy, like being home again. Now the little river ferry is sailing across the Georgia Straits. The Queen of Rumrow and Woodwitch Wildcrafts waits. The hub's anchored for breakwater near Little Ring Farm. At Slyman Village ways at the Westview Charm. Well, a bloodhound follows his nose, and its tail tells the tale. When it's wagging at both ends, it's hot on the trail. Now a weekend in Wildwood, we're sitting in the Shingle Mill Pub. It's Blackberry Festival, gonna gobble down some good grub. Relax and enjoy the old courthouse inn. At a spring salmon barbecue, it's summertime again. Well, a bloodhound follows his nose, and his tail tells the tale. When it's wagging at both ends, hot on the trail. Welcome to Wildwood, home of the Shingle Mill Pub. The Jailhouse Cafe, the Desolation Kayak Club. The Patricia Theater is the oldest in the land. When I'm back in Wildwood, it's like being home again. Yeah, I'm back in Wildwood, like being home again. There's a nice chord to end off with. That's a C chord, but if you add the D note to it, it's the 9th tone, so you get a D add 9, a little variation on a normal voicing. You might notice what I've done in that song was the chords were going B flat, F, and C. But instead of playing them like that, I played a B flat with a F bass on the bottom string, because I'm blessed with a long thumb. And for the F chord, I'm using an A bass, which is just the 5th string open, and then the C chord. So it's going like, and that's the notes that I would have my bass player play, or sounding. So that's one way of voicing chords with different bass notes that emphasize the bottom end of your song. Another thing that I did there was when I went to this bridge part, it just goes da, 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 da. That's kind of my melody, going A, C, F. So I played the melody on the bass. And that's another thing that you could have a cello player cop that line, or a saxophone or something could play a line like that in a recording to accent it. And here's another thing, when I went to my bridge, well, the bloodhound follows his nose, my melody is going B, C, D. But for my voicing on the upper notes of the chord, I went D, E, F, which is a harmony to the melody that I'm singing. So bloodhound follows his nose, but I'm really saying bloodhound follows his nose, and of course together they sound like. So that's another idea you can use. Here's a little arpeggio thing. It's kind of an arpeggio, which is sort of a way of voicing a chord. And arpeggio just means playing like a rolling number of notes. So this is a C 7th chord, So the melody of what I'm playing is going but the way I'm playing it, I'm using open strings, so it sounds like this. See if I can do it. There it is. If you practice that, you can roll it off like a banjo roll, and it sounds pretty fast and smooth. So that's a way of, it's kind of like a voicing of a chord, but you're arpeggiating it. Anyways, I hope that is of interest to folks. I thought rather than just play songs, I'd explain a little bit about what I'm doing. And I've got another one called Easy Rolling. This song incorporates the idea of having what I call inside chords voiced, in your chord. So I'm going to play this in the song in the key of A, and I've got an A bass note that I just let ring open on the guitar, a high E note here that rings open, and the inside voicing of my chords happens on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd street strings. So the chord progression is really like A, C sharp minor, D, A, and it would sound like that. But when I voice it with the using the inside voicing and the open strings, it sounds like this. A little different, eh? I'm driving, I'm surviving, and I'm feeling alive. Thriving, I'm just striving to do it right. Sunny, I've got money, I'm not running behind. It's funny, I'm not wondering why. Easy rolling. moonlight stroll, easy rolling, free my soul. Easy rolling, moonlight stroll, easy rolling, free my soul. Driving on, surviving and I'm feeling alive. Driving on, just driving to do it right. Sunny on, the honey on, not running behind. It's funny, I'm not wondering why. Easy rolling, moonlight stroll, easy rolling, free my soul. Yeah, excuse me, it's a little early in the morning for me here. There we go. And I see there's a couple questions. Looks kind of like you're using a different version voicing of an F and G. Yeah. I'm trying some different voicings. That F was really a F major 7 and a G7 was done like that. So it was a C, not a G from Julian. Yeah, I think you're on the right track there. The last chord that I did in this song, that's an A with an added 9th tone, or for an A it would be a B note, and I'm using a B string open. So this inside chord that I started with, so this, just take the first note off, and if I just strummed it, it would sound like this. But I pick it the other way, so you get more of an ascending melody to it. And I tend to finger pick a fair bit. I flat pick too, and most of these techniques you can use with flat picking as well. For me, finger picking just gives me more separation of being able to play, bass notes and melody notes at the same time, and some comping to go along with it. Yeah, so easy rolling in the chorus. I went to these major 7th chords, D major 7, and I'm voicing the melody there, just the roots and the bass, but easy rolling, moonlight stroll. And that's something that I think, I don't know if I should say most piano players, but you see a lot of piano players that just naturally play the melody on the right hand. Helps the singer, it moves the song along, and it's the way a lot of piano music is written, that can be applied like doing this on the guitar. Whereas I think a lot of guitar players learn chords and rhythm, and they're great at rhythm, but they don't necessarily voice the melody as often as they could or they might, And so showing you what I do that might apply to, a song that you're writing or wanting to arrange. And all right. I think The next thing that I could sort of illustrate is that using this concept of inside chords, and that means you've got a pedal, which is your bass note, typically. In this case, the A, and once again, the top note is kind of pedaling as well. And you're playing the inside notes. Well, you can experiment with those and go from an A to a G, maybe up to a C. You can use progressions like A, B minor. You have to finger it a little different. C sharp minor, D, E. And then you get variations of those just by experimenting, and lots of different things you can do in the voicing of your notes on the inside. Guitar is kind of set up so it's really lends itself to playing in the key of E. Guitar players love the key of E because you've got the low E bass pedal and your upper notes. And so you can come up with these ideas of like playing, once again, inside voicings of chords. E, A, and B. And leave the other strings open. Get all kinds of ideas and things that sound pretty cool. The B is really like a suspended chord. You've got that E suspended note there. In between minor chords, variations. Throw another note on the top. Just some ideas that you can work with. I think I've got another song here for you. Oh, I know. I was going to tell you, I've been, during my time away from not being able to perform live, I've been recording a new album. I thought I'd record a Christmas album. And over the years, I've kind of created my own variations and ways of playing things. And now I'm just sort of recording them for the first time in a long time. But okay, here's a progression for you pertaining to voicings. F, E minor, D minor, C. Make it a major seventh. Nice progression. Doesn't sound much like a song until you move it up the neck. Play your F major 7 here in the 8th position, and you go. Same progression, right? Sound familiar? And at this point, I was arranging this the other day, and I played a chord that I have never played in probably 50 years, all my time of playing the guitar. And at this point, I needed an E minor chord, and I thought, what's the best way to voice that? And if I drop the C note down to a B and just strum it, I get a beautiful E minor chord that I've never played before. E minor 7, I guess it is. No, it's just E minor. And do you recall? There's your A note. There's a neat little move. I still got the A string open and ringing. You move that up to what might be a C or at the 8th position and add on an A note, and then you get a minor note, a minor chord. So it's, and do you recall the most famous reindeer? So that's a cool little move going from A major to A minor there. Of all. Now I need a F sharp in my melody, so I just go down to this. And that's kind of the melody coming out in the way I'm voicing the chords. Hope that makes sense. I'm not seeing too many questions, so this may be either too elementary for a lot of people, or hopefully I'm not losing you. But I've got an hour. I got another 10 minutes here, so if you do have any questions, fire them at me, and I'll see what I can come up with. Here's another kind of a concept, I guess. Writing a song called 3-Man Band, and I've got a little bridge in it that once again uses a really, really simple chord progression. And it's like, I'm just trying to think of the lyric here. Betty Lou. Betty Lou plays a party doll. Mary Lou says I love them all. Big town boys digging all the prettiest girls. So C, G, D, and A. Pretty simple, eh? And the song kind of, simple like that. And I thought, well, it needs something in there. So I thought, how about playing arpeggios for those chords? And so I'm going like this. So this is a C chord and a G, but the C could also be played like this. So if I want to voice this a little differently, I'll put the E as my bass note on the 5th string, and I'm going do the same thing up here on the D chord, use the F sharp as the bass. A, and now the C chord voiced with the G on the bass. And I can either go to a G chord and keep there, or I can go from C to this G chord with a D bass, which I'm going to end up using. And then I'm there for the change to the D chord. The bass doesn't move at all, but it adds some interesting motion to a bass line. Kind of spices the song up a little bit. All right. I've got another tune that I can play for you, and just about enough time to do this. This is a song called Dalgety Bay, and which is a place in Scotland that I visited a few years ago and ended up being kind of enraptured by it. And it's a song on my newest album, which is called Not Far Away. And you can find all my information, music, at my website, which is simply glenfoster.ca. And that's one N in Glen. One's enough, two's too many, three's ridiculous. So glenfoster.ca. Here's a song called Dalgety Bay. And this is in the key of D. You really only need 2 notes to form a chord. So here's 2 D notes. Go to the 3rd. So what I'm doing is I'm really playing a melody in my voicing here. Change to a G chord. Back to the D. Here's the song. In a village on the Firth of Forth, where the boats go sailing by, in the heather on the hillside, I found the love of my life. A sweet, kind-hearted lassie with flowers in her hair, and I knew I'd never stray far from Dalgety Bay. Her eyes, they shone like starlight. They first met mine, smile to bring the laughter. No fairer love I'd find. 'Twas then that I knew deep inside I could not go away, and that I'd never stray far from Dalgety Bay. Dalgety Bay, travel endless miles. Dalgety Bay, farthing for your smile. Well, she told me that she loved me, and her heart was truly mine. We decided then to marry, a cottage we would find, and there we'd raise a family, a daughter or a son, and pray they'd never stray far from Dalgety Bay. Dalgety Bay, travel endless miles. Dalgety Bay, a farthing for your smile. Now our travels they have taken us o'er mountains far abroad, to Canada, across the sea, through foreign lands we've trod. But there's the place we'll e'er return, it's where we make our home. I know I'll never stray now from Dalgety Bay. Dalgety Bay, I travel endless miles. Dalgety Bay, a farthing for your smile. Yes, there's the place we'll e'er return, it's where we make our home. I know I'll never stray now from Dalgety Bay. I know I'll never stray now from Dalgety Bay. Simple little song. When it starts out, I use a D pedal, and that's the fourth string on the guitar with the D chord. When I go to the G chord, that's all I need is one note, and I keep the D bass the same. And then when it goes to the 5 chord, the A chord, I'm going to use a E bass. So I'm avoiding all the other basses, just staying. Simple thing, but it really, it puts the focus on the song, the vocal, the singer, and the words, and keeps the playing really kind of uncluttered. And then in the third verse of the song, I switched to chords that sound really quite different because they only have the root and the fifth. And so we just call them 5 chords. And here's the D. So I've got A, D, A, D, A. And then when I go to the G note or G chord, I go D, G, D, G. And what that does is it gives you kind of an ethnic, I like to think of a European flavor, and it's really very Scottish. It's kind of like the bagpipes that have a drone to them, and so there's that. And here's the A chord, just roots and fifths. So that's a way of voicing a chord with just particular notes in there to give it a sort of a flavor, if you will. I see my time's almost up, so I hope people listening have found this interesting and maybe informative, something that you can use. My name is Glen Foster. It's been really nice being here once again. I thank Mark, Balash, and Alex for inviting me and getting me set up to make this a successful Music Expo once again. I'll leave you with one more little concept. I don't really have much of a song to play, but it's a bit of a story. It's like little Johnny went for his guitar lesson, and the first thing the teacher taught him was a chord. The chord's E minor 7, and this is all you have to do. You just play those top 4 strings, and that's an E minor 7. Now, if you want to get technical, you can add the B in there, and you get an E minor 7 with. So Dad says, well, Johnny, what'd you learn at your guitar lesson today? And he said, I learned the E minor 7 chord. And Dad said, let's see it. And he goes like, pretty easy, eh? Yeah, it sounds great, but it's so easy. The next week he goes for his guitar chord and guitar lesson. And the teacher says, okay, we're going to learn a new chord today, Johnny. All you need is the top 4 notes on your guitar. But this is, today it's going to be a G6. And so if you want to get fancy and kind of fix it up, you can add a G bass to it. And you get a G6 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the 6th tone in a G chord. And he showed that to his dad. He was, said, well, it sounds great, but he's not impressed. He didn't think he was learning very much. So Johnny goes back the next week, and teacher shows him a new chord. He says, okay, Johnny, just play those top 4 strings, and that's a C major 7 add 9 chord. Okay, if you want to get a little fancier with it, you can put the actual C bass in it, and you got a C major 7 chord, We're going to add that tone in there just to make it a little more interesting. The second chord, it's like going like this. And so you get the gist of this. You've got one chord with 3 different notes, or 3 different names to it. If you used a D bass on that chord and just played this, that D is your bass, and you've got a 4th note, like a suspended. You've got a 6th note and a 9th note. So this is really like a D 6/9 suspended 4th, or you could create your own name for it. Like 6 and 9 is 15, and you add 4 to it for the 4th. You could say this is a D19. I've invented a D19 chord. It just sounds like this. Johnny's dad was really impressed. But the point is, I guess, that if you have chords in your song, you can make them do different things, because an E minor 7 is leaning towards it. It wants to resolve to like an A chord. A G6 wants to resolve to a C chord. The D19 wants to resolve home to a G chord. Anyways, I'm going to leave you with that. And my name's Glen Foster. You can find me on Facebook and all over the place. My website is glenfoster.ca. If you have any questions, let me know. It's been nice being with you this morning. Happy spring, first day of spring, everybody. I'm going to check out. Thank you. Bye for now.